Hello, guys. The lesson today we are going to go through is The Tiger King, written by Kalki. This is the second lesson in your supplementary text, and this is one of the more enjoyable lessons in your textbook. It's full of humor and satire. What is satire? Satire, if I translate it into Malayalam, means Aksheba Hasya. Every sentence in this lesson is filled with humor. There are lots of themes. The themes include cruelty towards animals, the rule of a king, the dictatorship of a king, the foolishness of the administration, and how one man's whims and fancies leads to problems faced by the citizens. All these are dominant themes in these lessons. It also deals with superstitions, astrology, and many other themes. And each theme is given a certain specified time, and it's filled with humor. And if you really understand the lesson, you can really enjoy a lot of jokes. Okay, the hero of the story, or rather the protagonist of the story, is Jang Bahadur, who's the king of a kingdom called Pratibandhapuram. See, the very name Pratibandhapuram is symbolic of the kind of rule the king has got there. Pratibandhapuram means a place where there are lots of restrictions. Pratibandh means restriction. Understand? So that itself is a satire. So we come to the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story, the author humorously says that the most important thing the story is going to say is that the king is dead. The Tiger King is dead. Then he goes forward and talks about the birth of the Tiger King. When Maharaj Jang Bahadur, or the Tiger King, was born, there were so many incidents that happened, but the most interesting thing was that the chief astrologer of the royal palace made a prophecy. A prophecy is, something somebody says about the future. He made a prophecy. The prophecy is that the Tiger King will be killed by a tiger. Understand? This was the Tiger King will die. He said that the Tiger King will die. So the author says that the 10-day-old Tiger King raised an intelligent question. It was only 10 days old. The question to the astrologer was that everybody who will be born will definitely die. No doubt about that. How will that person die? If you say that, it will be much more wise. So the astrologer is astonished and says, 10-day-old child has spoken, and that too it raises intelligent questions. And the astrologer is absolutely astonished. He's surprised. Now all these things are said with humor. It doesn't actually mean that these things happened. It just shows that the astrologer made a foolish prophecy. He said that the Tiger King will die, and even a 10-day-old child can raise intelligent questions. Come on, man, everybody who is born will die, but tell me, how will I die? Then the astrologer makes his second prophecy. He says that the Tiger King will be killed by a tiger. Maharaj Jang Bahadur, the prince, will be killed by a tiger, because he is born under the sign of the bull. The bull and the tiger are enemies. All these are astrological predictions. So he will be definitely killed by a tiger. That is the prophecy he makes. And everybody forgets this prophecy. The king, Maharaj Jang Bahadur, when he was a child, he grows up like any other child. Now here the author gives us how much importance was attached to the English language in those days. The child was brought up by an English nanny. He was tutored in English by an Englishman. He even drank the milk of an English cow. You see the humor there. If you drink the milk of an English cow, probably you will be able to speak English better. And he watched only English movies. So that much the influence of the British rule and the English language was such that every prince in those days wanted to become fluent in English, and they undertook all kinds of all kinds of trials and tribulations to ensure that they spoke in English. So what were the things he did? He was tutored in English by an Englishman. He was brought up by an English nanny. He drank the milk of an English cow, and he saw only English movies. Anyway, the child grew up. And when he became a prince and the kingdom came to him and he became the king. And then somebody told him that, do you know, sir, that you will be killed by a tiger? Then the Tiger King heard this. And he said, I will be killed by a tiger? Who said this? The chief astrologer said this. Okay, will I be killed by a tiger? Let me see. He immediately goes and he immediately hunts a tiger and kills the tiger. And he brings the dead body and shows it to the astrologer and says, you told that I'll be killed by a tiger. You see, I have killed the tiger. And the astrologer then makes his next prophecy or his next prediction for the future. He says, the Tiger King may kill 99 tigers in this fashion, but the 100th tiger will definitely kill him. You look at the prophecy. The Tiger King will kill 99 tigers, but he will be killed by the 100th tiger. Now tell me, what is the easiest way to escape from death? The easiest way to escape from death is naturally not to kill 100 tigers. He will be killed only by the 100th tiger. So if he does not kill any tigers, he will never kill the 100th tiger. And in that manner, he can always remain alive. But since the story is a satire and there is a lot of humor, the Tiger King understood that he must kill the 100th tiger. So he decided that he is going to hunt all the tigers he can find until he can kill 100 tigers. And he also gives an order that nobody else should kill tigers. It is only his right to kill tigers. Nobody else has the right to touch a tiger. So tigers became very happy because normally many people used to kill them. Now they became safe because the only way you have to wait for the Maharaja. Only the Maharaja has the right to kill. So many times, the Tiger King went to the jungle and killed many tigers that he could find. Of course, it is a dangerous sport. Killing tigers is a dangerous sport. Many times the Maharaja missed his mark. The bullet missed its target. And he had to fight the tiger with his bare hands. All this is said with humor. All this is said in a very jovial fashion. And also, there were many times when he stood in the danger of losing his kingdom. How is that? See, in those days during the British rule, there were many small kingdoms in India. Maybe the Maharaja of Junagadh was there. The Nizam of Hyderabad was there. The King of Travancore was there. There were many kings who had their own individual kingdoms, but overall they were under the control of the British. So when a British officer demands something from a king, the king cannot say no. Because if he says no, they may annex his kingdom. Or they may throw him away and they may join his kingdom with the British kingdom. So it so happened that one day he received a request from a British officer that he wanted to hunt tigers in his kingdom. Now the Maharaja feels that hunting tigers is his right and nobody else has the right to hunt tigers. So he decides that he will not let anybody else hunt tigers in his kingdom. So he tells the British officer, he sends word that he will not be allowed to kill any tigers. He can organize any other kind of hunt he wants, maybe a boar hunt, a mouse hunt, or even a mosquito hunt, but he cannot organize a tiger hunt. Now, the British officer says that he doesn't have to kill the tiger. Maharaja can kill the tiger, but the British officer is actually interested in taking a photograph with the dead tiger. You see how much importance people attach to photographs. Even in those days, today we upload so many photos on Instagram and Facebook. So even many years ago, before India was independent itself, there was a lot of importance attached to photos. The British officer did not actually want to do the killing, but he wanted to be photographed with the tiger. But the Maharaja thought, if I allow that, tomorrow many other British officers will come and they will say that I too want to hunt tigers and I cannot allow that. So he said no. Now, when you make a British officer angry, there is every danger of losing your kingdom. So what the Maharaja did, the Maharaja, in order to appease the British officer, sent samples of diamond rings to his lady, to his wife most probably, understand, expecting that they will select one or two and return the remaining samples. But what did the lady do? She kept all the diamond rings with herself and sent her thanks to the Maharaja. The Maharaja lost 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs in those days may be equal to 300 crores. But Maharaja was happy. Though he lost 3 lakh rupees, he did not lose his kingdom. In such way, the tiger hunting carried along. Many days passed. The tiger king killed many tigers, and then there was a problem. There were no more tigers left to hunt in his kingdom. Almost all tigers were dead or killed. The author humorously says that whether they ran away or whether the tigers committed harakiri. Harakiri means suicide. Whether the tigers committed suicide because they wanted to be killed by British gun. You see how much importance we attach to the British. If I die, it should be by a British man. White skin complex. I don't want to be killed by an Indian. I rather be killed by a European. It gives me more pride to be killed by a European. So even the tigers probably had that feeling. They wanted to be killed by an Englishman. So probably they died or they committed suicide because they did not want to be killed by the Tiger King. Now, when this problem came forth, there were no tigers left. The Maharaja thought of a plan and he called his Diwan. Diwan is the Prime Minister. And he told his Diwan, I want to get married. Then Diwan, already he is afraid. Diwan said, I already have 2 wives. I cannot marry you. Very humorously this is said. Then the Tiger King said, it is not you, man, that I want to marry. Rather a tiger. A tiger? No. Already we have a Tiger King. We don't want a Tiger Queen. Please don't marry a tiger. Then the Maharaja laughed and said, see, I don't want to get married to a tiger. Rather, I want to get married to a princess from a kingdom where there are more number of tigers. Now this is actually making a cruel joke on people who get married for purposes different than the girl. In many cases, people get married looking at the dowry, the background, how much property they have, understand how much money the girl's father has and all these things. Similarly, the Maharaja does not want to get married to a girl for the sake of the girl. Rather, he wants to get married to a girl whose father, the king, has a large number of tigers in his kingdom. Anyway, the Diwan conveniently finds such a girl and the Maharaja gets married to that girl. So every time the Maharaja visited his father-in-law, he killed 4 or 5 tigers. It went on like this. Many days went on like this. Still, the 100 tigers were not completed. Finally, 99 tigers were completed. The Maharaja killed 99 tigers. Still, there was 1 tiger left to be killed. Now, the Maharaja could not find 1 more tiger to kill. There were no tigers in his father-in-law's kingdom. There were no tigers in his kingdom. And the Maharaja got very angry. He was restless. He was frustrated. He was anxious. So, finally, there were rumors that there was a tiger somewhere in his kingdom near the forest. a few villagers came and told him that our sheep and goats are missing. So probably this is the work of a tiger. The Maharaja became very happy, and he immediately went to the village and he immediately said that no more taxes for this village because they've given me such a happy news. And the Maharaja camped in the village, and finally he hunted and hunted and hunted, but he could not find the tiger. And then he got very angry, and then he said, I am doubling the taxes for all the villagers in this village because they gave me a false news that there is a tiger. I cannot find the tiger. Finally, many people lost their jobs. Many people lost their lives. Finally, the Prime Minister Diwan understood that if it goes on like this, even he will lose his job. And many other people will lose their lives. And he may lose not only his job but also his life. So, secretly, what he did is, he brought a tiger from Chennai Zoo, Madras. In those days it was called Madras. From Madras Zoo, he brought a tiger secretly and kept it inside his home. Now imagine bringing a tiger and keeping it quietly inside your home is not an easy task. So it is said in a very humorous and jovial manner. And one day when the Maharaja was resting, the Diwan and his aged wife, they pushed the tiger into the car. You see, if Diwan is an old man, his wife is also old, both of them brought the tiger, dragged the tiger and pushed the tiger into the back seat of the car. So you can imagine what kind of a tiger it was. The tiger was probably even older than the Diwan. Anyway, the Diwan drove his car and brought it to the presence of the Maharaja. And when it reached there, the tiger launched a satyagraha and said that I will not get out of the car. Somehow the Diwan and his wife pushed the tiger outside, and this tiger slowly wandered and went to the presence of the Maharaja. And the Maharaja, after seeing the tiger, was very, 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 very happy. And he immediately took his gun and took aim. And you see, the Maharaja was so excited. The Maharaja was so happy that even nearby, the tiger was so nearby, he took careful aim, and in a hurry when he shot, there was a big bang as the bullet went, and the tiger fell down in a heap. The Maharaja was very happy. The tiger fell down. The Maharaja told the soldiers, okay, I have killed the 100 tiger. Maharaja went to the palace in his car and he told the soldiers, I have killed the 100 tiger. You bring the dead body in a procession to the palace and let us build a tomb. You know what's a tomb is? Like a Taj Mahal. A tomb is something you build over where you bury a person in their memory. So build a tomb for the 100 tiger and tell everybody that I have killed the 100th tiger. So the Maharaja went away, and the soldiers slowly they went to the tiger and they looked at the tiger, and the tiger opened his eyes and looked at them. Then they understood that the tiger was not dead. Actually, the tiger was so old and tired that when the bullet went nearby him, by the wind or the breeze of the bullet, the tiger fell down unconscious. The bullet had missed its mark. The king had not killed the tiger. The tiger was so old that just the sound of the bullet, it was shocked and it fell down unconscious. When the soldiers understood this, there was another problem. Now, who has the guts to go to the Maharaja and tell him that, sir, you have not killed the tiger? So the two soldiers made a plan. What they did is, one of the soldiers took aim at the tiger and shot and killed the tiger. And they took the tiger to the palace and everybody celebrated, and they said that the 100th tiger is dead. The Maharaja was very happy. The prophecy was completed. He had killed 100 tigers. 100 tigers were dead. But who killed the 100th tiger? The Maharaja did not kill the 100th tiger. The 100th tiger was killed by the soldier. But the Maharaja thought that he had killed the tiger. Finally, Maharaja forgot all about this because 100 tigers were dead anyway, and he was now safe. So, now he decided to celebrate the birthday of his son, who was now 3 years old, because for the past 3 years, the Maharaja was very busy hunting tigers that he did not get any time to pay attention to his son. Now he had an opportunity to do that, and he decided to celebrate the birthday of his son in a grand style. And for that purpose, he wanted to buy an apt present for his son. So the Maharaja went to many shops. He could not find any proper present for him. Finally, when he went into one particular shop, he found a small wooden tiger. So since the entire life of the Maharaja is filled with tigers and how he killed tigers, and the Maharaja is also known as the Tiger King, he decided that the right present for his child will be a wooden tiger. Now the wooden tiger was made by a very inexperienced fellow. So it is a very bad piece of work. So when the Maharaja asked its cost, the shop owner, if he says a very cheap price, definitely he will be punished by the Maharaja, because I am buying a present for my son and you are telling me such a cheap price. The shopkeeper said a very exorbitant price, a 300 rupees or something like that, he said. And the Maharaja said, "Oh, very good. Let this be your present to my son." He did not pay anything to that shopkeeper. You see the condition of the Maharaja. He is a king, but he did not pay the money, and he told that, "Oh, it is such an expensive thing. Okay, let it be your present to my son." After all, the shopkeeper cannot say anything because he is the king. If he says anything against the king, definitely he will be punished. So he said, "Fine." So that day, Maharaja presented the wooden tiger to his son, and the Maharaja and the son, they played with the tiger for a long time. And while they were playing, I told you the tiger was not very well crafted or very well made. There were lots of wooden splinters that were sticking from the tiger. In Malayalam, what we say, "aar." Understand? So these splinters were sticking from the wooden tiger, and one of these splinters, it pierced the Maharaja's hand. Maharaja just removed it and threw it away. He did not think much about it. If a wooden splinter pierces our hand, we will also remove it and throw away. We will not think much about it. The same way the Maharaja also did not think much about it. He just threw away the wooden splinter. But the next day, his hand became highly infected. It could not be cured at all. Many people made consultations. The doctors made consultations. A famous surgeon was brought, necessary to save the Maharaja. And in a very humorous manner, the lesson ends. The operation was done, and finally the doctors came outside and said, "The operation is a success, the Maharaja is dead." The operation is a success, the Maharaja is dead. That is how the Tiger King dies. And most importantly, this is how the astrologer's prophecy is proved right. So which was the 100th tiger? The 100th tiger was the wooden tiger. It was not the tiger which was shot by the soldier. Rather, the king was killed by the 100th tiger, which was a wooden tiger. We would imagine that the 100th tiger killing the Maharaja would be a live tiger. But no, it was rather a wooden tiger, and in a very, very cunning manner, the splinter that pierced his hand created an infection. And because of the infection, the king's hand became highly infected, and an operation was conducted, and the king died. So finally, this is how the 100th tiger had its revenge on the Maharaja. So, the most important thing in this lesson is the humor. There are many, many instances of humor in this lesson. One of the most common questions that come from this lesson is, give examples of humor in the lesson Tiger King. Right from the beginning you can start. The Tiger King's birth, the 10-year-old boy speaking, the Tiger King when he was a child drinking the milk of an English cow, being tutored in English by an Englishman, having an English nanny. Who's a nanny? A nanny is a lady who looks after a child because the mother is busy. Understand? When there is a queen will be busy with so many other things because she's the king's wife. So there is a person called a nanny who will look after the child. This was an English nanny because the child should hear only English language. The child has to be fluent in English language. Understand? And he also watched English movies. And then the astrologer say after the Tiger King has killed the first tiger, the astrologer says that he will be killed by the 100th tiger. Otherwise, I will burn all my books on astrology and become an insurance salesman. This is another humor in this lesson. If you read, you will understand. The astrologer says that if my prophecy is not proved correct, I will burn all my books and I will become an insurance salesman. So the humor in this is that astrologer is a person who wins over people by speaking. Understand? He speaks a lot. And by the gift of the gab or the gift of his mouth, people believe him. An insurance salesman is also the same kind of person. He will talk to you a lot about insurance products and finally he will win you over. He will make you take a policy. So an astrologer and an insurance salesman, they have this in common. So if you cannot become an astrologer, you can become an insurance salesman. So if astrologer has to abandon his profession, the next profession he will choose will be that of an insurance salesman. That is another humor. And of course, the British officer selecting all the diamond rings and sending a letter of thanks is another part of humor. The king saying that he will organize a boar hunt, a mouse hunt, and even a mosquito hunt is another part of humor. The Tiger King marrying a girl from a kingdom where there are a large number of tigers is another humor, another example of humor. And the Divan saying that he already had 2 wives and he cannot marry the king is another example of humor. The Divan and his aged wife dragging the old tiger and pushing it into the back seat of the car is also humorous and satirical. The tiger looking at the soldiers is also another example of humor. And finally, the doctors saying that the operation is successful and the tiger is dead is also very, very humorous. So the entire lesson is a satire. Now there are 2 or 3 things we have to see. You see, so many tigers were killed by the Tiger King. Why were these tigers killed? For no other reason than a prophecy made by an astrologer which said that the king would be killed by the 100th tiger. The Maharaja never thought that if he does not kill any tigers, he will be safe. Rather, he chose to kill 100 tigers. Imagine, what wrong did the tigers do? They did not attack the king. They did not plan to kill the king. Rather, it is the king who went in search of the tigers. The astrologer only said that he would be killed by the 100th tiger. He does not have to hunt any tigers. So, we see that there are so many examples of cruelty towards animals around us during which a tiger or any other animal is killed like that for absolutely no reason at all. Rather, they are killed for sport, killed for enjoyment. You know, there are many animals like chicken, mutton and all killed for the purpose of food. That may be right or wrong, debatable. But killing an animal for the sake of enjoyment is not correct. It is cruel, it is inhuman, and you can be punished by law if you kill an animal for sport. You can go through the internet, you will find various examples of killing dogs and cats just for enjoyment. So the author is against all those things, and through the king, the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram, he shows how animals are killed for no other purpose but for sport. And the author is against all these things. The story also shows how a king behaves when he feels he is right and he wants to save himself, and he makes trouble for everybody in his kingdom. For everybody in his kingdom. He wants to kill 100 tigers, so he blames the ministers, he blames the soldiers, he blames everybody. Nobody is in peace. He even gets married. Not for the sake of the girl. Not for the sake of, the princess, a beautiful princess who has many good qualities. Rather, he gets married to a girl in whose kingdom the tiger population is more. So this is also a satire towards people who marry not looking at the person, rather how much property she has or how much dowry they can give. So the author is against all these things. So if you read the lesson keeping all these things in your mind, you'll be able to enjoy it much, much better. The question answers will be taken up in a while. Thank you one and all.